This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Wanaka and Queenstown residents and business owners let out a collective sigh of relief this morning. A plan to build just a Polynesian waka has grown fourfold thanks to a generous donation. And a multi-million-dollar fund is set to help southern farmers navigate environmental red tape. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Simon Anderson. Wanaka and Queenstown residents, along with many business owners, let out a collective sigh of relief this morning. Both their respective lakes, Wanaka and Wakatipu, reached their peak levels earlier today without inflicting too much damage on the two townships.
After waiting over the weekend for flood waters to stop rising, business owners on the lakefront of Queenstown's Lake Wakatipu and across the hill at Lake Wanaka were relieved when the swollen lake levels started to drop.
The lake level has receded. It's receded about 50 mil, so it's 5 centimetres. So what's that? About that much. Which, if my calculations are correct, given that the lake's 280 square metres, is about 9 billion litres of water to make up 5 centimetres. But yeah, as you can see, it's gone down a bit, and with a stroke of luck, we might have dodged a bullet.
McLeod says the flooding has helped provide extra data to improve the Otago Regional Council's flood prediction models and future lakefront development.
Because the one thing I can guarantee is this will happen again in some shape or form, but it's how we inform the process so that it's better, so that every response that Council has is better than the last time.
He says at this point there's been no decision on what can be done to protect the lakefront town from future floods, but the collection of wooden debris is an issue.
Something that, in talking with the contractors, having a hard edge to collect the debris on. We've taken 50 odd truckloads of debris away from the lakefront, so having a hard edge to collect that on, all of that will inform the process moving forward.
The Queenstown Lakes District Council says floodwaters will not recede overnight, and the public should still respect any closures or temporary speed limits until further notice. And it's been estimated it could take almost 3 weeks for Lake Wanaka to return to average December lake levels, but businesses affected by the floods are expected to reopen well before then. In the meantime, downstream, the Clutha River flow is expected to peak later today or tomorrow and remain elevated for some time. In Wanaka and Queenstown, The South Today.
Further north, the lower half of the South Island was reconnected to the rest of the country with the reopening of State Highway 72. While the reopening of the bridge across the swollen Rangitata River means the two halves of the east coast of the South Island have been reconnected, the weekend's chaotic weather means parts of the west coast remain isolated. This drone footage from social media partially shows the extent of the weekend's flooding in South Canterbury, which cut the South Island in half. The Timaru District Council's website displays roads which are closed, along with speed restrictions in the affected areas. The Rangitata River burst its banks after a sustained period of heavy rain, leaving both State Highway 1 at Rangitata and the Upper Rangitata Bridge at Arundel impassable on Saturday. A motorist captured 15-kilometre long queues of cars which weren't going anywhere. Timaru District Council says motorists should expect delays and speed restrictions will be in place. State Highway 1 at Rangitata is to remain closed until further notice. 4 traditional Pacific Island canoes, or waka, are being built in the hope they'll be part of next year's Pacific Arts Festival. Initially, the plan was to build just one, however, a generous donation expanded the project's ambition.
This waka, or single-hull outrigger canoe, has been made by a master canoe maker in a collaboration with Otago Polytechnic. Master waka builder, Mata Taurari, says he was among the group who chose the timber.
When I was asked to come and look for the log, I took Papa Lester with me, and then I went over there. I looked at the 3 of the logs here just standing. I just pointed to Ben. I want those 3. and then they cut it down, and they bring it here.
He says when the logs were on site, he then began the process of planning and measuring in the traditional way.
I used my fingers, I used my feet to strike them. 3 of that is just about 11 feet in length. And from there, then I know then that's what we want. And then we all start carving them.
The Vaka Making Project is a collaboration between Otago Polytechnic and the Pacific Trust of Otago. Pacific Trust Chief Executive Lester Dean says it takes many hands to create Vaka in a traditional way and is a golden opportunity for learning.
There's a bit of scepticism, because people say, oh, you're going to build a canoe, really?
Yeah.
So we said 3 months, we've done it in 3 weeks.
Dean says originally only one Vaka was going to be built as a project to revive the art of Polynesian canoe building in the city. But with more wood on hand, they're able to make more.
The idea is to involve as many people in building the canoe, and particularly our young people, get our young people involved. So out of the one, initially it was 1, but we've had 4 logs from the arborists, Polytech, so we think we'll build 4.
Lester Deans hopes to have a flotilla of 4 Vaka ready for a Pacific Arts Festival in April 2020. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Firefighters have been called to a significant house fire in the Dunedin suburb of Wakari. Crews from St Kilda and Dunedin attended the fire on Mayfield Ave just before noon. Fire crews found the single-storey property well involved and requested additional crews from Lookout Point and Willowbank. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesperson says all people are accounted for and no one was injured. A fire investigator was due to visit the scene this afternoon as the cause of the fire is unknown. The fire was largely contained as fire crews arrived within 15 to 20 minutes. Southland farmers concerned about the labyrinth of resource consent needed to clean up local waterways have now received a funding boost to help them navigate the red tape. Minister of Agriculture Damien O'Connor visited the South to announce the funding boost between $6 and $9 million.
Helping plant a tree during his visit to 5 Rivers near Lumsden. Minister of Agriculture Damien O'Connor told Southern farmers on Saturday that the thriving Southland Change and Innovation Project will receive between $6 and $9 million of government funding. The money is to be spent giving advice and support to the Southland farmers as they deal with the challenges of improving and maintaining water quality in their local rivers and streams.
We can't have one solution for every region, but we do want to have one target that's having, swimmable rivers, over a lifetime.
O'Connor says while the project was launched in Southland, farming groups from across the country can apply for similar funding from the $200 million Sustainable Land Use Package announced in this year's budget.
I think that other catchment management groups will see what's going on here, see that there is help available, direct resourcing, and they'll join this thriving Southland, and that's what we want to happen. Farmers look over the fence, they talk to their mates, and where there's good practice and good progress, they'll want to follow.
The Minister says the plan is to pull together clusters of farmers and growers to share information, insights and advice.
So you've got to set up an entity. There are some legal requirements to make sure that when you get $6 to $9 million, then you spend the money wisely, you're accountable for it, and that it is making real progress.
Part of the scheme is to help farmers navigate their way through the resource consents which might be required for the work needed to improve water quality. In 5 Rivers, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a group of philanthropic bikies make their annual charity run, and a group of scared locals plead the case to keep the TY Point smelter open. See you after the break.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz.
We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Larnach Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle, ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
It's that time of year when we all spend time with our family and friends. Please enjoy Christmas, but keep an eye out for the people who are struggling and may need a helping hand. My office closes on the 20th of December, opens on the 13th of January. Have a great summer, a great Christmas.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Merry Christmas everyone. Have a happy and safe new year from everyone at Garador Dunedin.
Namai Noor, welcome back. Close to 150 philanthropic motorcyclists delivered Christmas cheer in Dunedin yesterday. Bronze Otago's 36th annual toy run saw riders of all sorts of motorcycles and even the odd motor scooter assemble at Carries Bay Hotel on Saturday. Riders then travelled to Dunedin's dental school and into the Octagon. There they donated several hundred gifts to the Balmacewen Lions, which distributes them to charities. The riders also made donations to the New Zealand Muscular Dystrophy Association and the Otago Rescue Helicopter Trust. People from Southland need to make their voices heard regarding the threat of the closure of the aluminium smelter at Tiwai Point. That's what around 100 people were told by Southland Chamber of Commerce President Neil Makara at a Fight for Fairness meeting yesterday.
The Southland Chamber of Commerce drew about 100 people to their Fight for Fairness event in Invercargill yesterday. New Zealand Aluminium Smelter Chief Executive Stu Hamilton says the company's plans to review the operation with a threat of closure is much more serious than previous grumbles.
So a lot of people saying, oh, here we go again, it's the same thing all over again. A strategic review has never been called at Tiwai. It's a fairly serious process. It's something which Rio Tinto conducts rarely, but it does conduct in a number of operations around the world. And in this case, it's looking at three options for the smelter.
He says the first and preferred option is to keep the smelter running at full capacity. The second option is to reduce the amount of production, but shutting down some of the pot lines. And the third is to close the entire plant. Hamilton also says the hydroelectric power scheme at Manapuri, created 50 years ago to provide power to the aluminium smelter, generates money for the country in a relatively clean and green way.
They're built as a partnership. It's a fantastic project basically designed for New Zealand to take its significant hydropower resources and to monetise it, turn it into cash for New Zealand. What's happened over the sort of subsequent 50 years is that every single year the smelter contributes about $500 million into the economy.
The power station and smelter are about 150 kilometres apart, and to get power to the smelter uses about 2% of the country's electrical grid. Yet he says the smelter is actually having to pay 7 to 8% of the country's total electrical transmission revenue.
We're not saying that we expect Meridian to lose money from the power station, we're just saying that the partnership needs to be rebalanced, needs to be fairer. And that's really what we're standing up for, is to fight for the fairness of the operation. Looking at such a fantastic operation that produces the highest purity aluminium in the world, some of the lowest carbon, and for New Zealand to have that asset in its midst, it needs to have a competitive price of power.
Southland Chamber of Commerce President Neil Makara says it's up to the concerned people of Southland to make their voices heard.
We're passionate behind it, the team, and I suppose hopefully all of you in the crowd today, and I suppose the word is get the word out there more. We need to be more active. It's hard from a Southland perspective. We are in 90 to 100,000 people. Central government doesn't tend to listen too well to that smaller population, so we need to be, I suppose, crowing above our weight and getting out there more active.
An online petition to save the Tiwai Point smelter had already gained several thousand online signatures by midday today. In Invercargill, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we follow hundreds of university graduates on their walk to Dunedin's Town Hall, and we take a look back at the month of March. See you after the break.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
In my young life, I've learned how to accept Christmas is a great time for all the family and friends to get together. There's no harm in indulging and a little bit of alcohol and food. What we've got to realise is you need to moderate in everything you do in life, so we don't over excess anything to create problems in your life. So I wish you a great happy new year and a prosperous 2020.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Hi there, it's that time of year again, and we're proud to bring you the coverage of the Santa Parade, starring me and lots of others. Brought to you by the good people at Alex Campbell Menswear.
Thanks for staying with us. More than 600 students graduated from the University of Otago in 2 separate graduation ceremonies on Saturday. 300 graduates in physiotherapy and medicine walked the well-trodden path from university to the Dunedin Town Hall for a 1 p.m. ceremony. And a group of dentistry, medicine, medical laboratory science and pharmacy graduates took the same walk for a second Otago ceremony at the Dunedin Town Hall at 4 p.m. At the first ceremony, Professor John Reynolds told graduating students to hold on to their humanity. Then, at the latter event, the President of the International College of Dentists told graduates collaboration is the best way for medical professionals to move forward. In the lead up to Christmas, we're taking a look back at the news highlights over the last 12 months. Events in mid-March will stay with New Zealanders for a long time as a gunman opened fire at a Christchurch mosque, and vigils were held around the region as people showed their support to the Muslim community.
After a delay due to bad weather, March saw oysters in their dozens being caught in Fovo Strait and shipped to Bluff processing plants.
It wasn't particularly good. The weather was just not favourable, but yeah. Anyway, that's life oystering. Yeah, life fishing.
Also delayed, Dunedin's long-awaited bus hub opened with its new paving, shelters and electronic timetables to a cost blowout of an extra $900,000 over the almost $5 million budget.
The work on this capital item, the bus hub, is funded out of our transport reserve, so it doesn't have a direct impact on rates.
Exactly a week after a gunman attacked a Christchurch mosque, Dunedin's Muslim community gathered in their Clyde Street Mosque, with close to 1,000 others outside to show their support.
I learned last year that Islam is a religion of peace, and I love coming to the mosque, sitting on their prayers at the stadium. When the call for prayer went out, I lined up with them. I didn't have a prayer mat, but they put a prayer mat in front of me, and there's a peace that I feel in their prayers that I don't feel in my own church.
Several of the women outside wore a hijab as one of the many symbols of support to their Muslim sisters.
Oh, it's amazing. Honestly, I was at a loss for words. I showed up and it was quite overwhelming in the best sense of the word, and it means that even through all this hate and, you know, what's happened, that we're accepted, and it's made us feel valued and loved and part of the community. So yeah, it was wonderful.
A woman lay critically injured for several hours in a car which had crashed down a bank in Queenstown. The driver, who had abandoned her at the accident scene, later admitted a charge of aggravated careless driving causing injury and was jailed for 16 months. Cars screamed up White's Road behind Kaitangata for the Bob Scott Memorial Gravel Hill Climb. The South Otago Car Club event caters for homemade V8s, modified rally cars, as well as classic cars. The fastest car of the day was a modern Toyota, which took 1 minute and 13 seconds to complete the course. Bob Scott's 2 old home-built racers were only 25 seconds behind, despite being made with technology from 50 years ago.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Wanaka and Queenstown residents and business owners let out a collective sigh of relief this morning as lake levels fall. A plan to build just a Polynesian waka has grown fourfold thanks to a generous donation engaging Polytech students too. And the government has announced a multi-million-dollar fund set to help southern farmers navigate environmental red tape. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome editor Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Simon. Big story just breaking just recently. 20 people have been injured after a volcanic eruption on White Islands. Wow. Now, we understand most of those injured were from a cruise ship. So more details will come to hand, and that'll be in your newspaper tomorrow. So yeah, we've seen pictures of plumes of steam and ash in the air, so fairly significant. So the other crisis at the weekend, of course, was the floods and the damage that caused between the link between north and south. Now, a alternative route has been repaired, so there is access to the north, and likewise to the south. So delivery of the bread and the essential elements will be starting to come through. So we'll report on those efforts and see what state that is. Because there is a huge backlog of trucks and cars, etc. It will take some time to clear the road, but of course your journey will be extended by at least an hour with the alternative route. So again, it's still going to be quite an effort to get north and south. Dunedin City Council wants to increase the amount of money its companies can borrow if needed. To almost $1 billion. So interesting story there. And we have more on the flooding. We look at Queenstown and Wanaka, and whilst the water has receded, there's still issues for businesses because they're still not out of the woods yet.
Right.
That and lots more, Simon, as usual, lots of good sport. We're leading up to the test match in Perth, so previews of that and much more.
That's great. Thanks very much,
Thank
Barry.
you.
Now time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by MoleMap.
Starting with the southern view, a snapshot of yesterday's heavy rain which fell as hail across parts of Dunedin. Looking at the situation, a ridge of high pressure brings fine weather to most of the South Island this week, but westerly airflow will affect the far south for a few days with some showers and breeze. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are set for cloudy skies with 17 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect the odd cloud and 19 degrees. Moving down to Canterbury, you'll have some cloudy skies across this area. Kaikoura and Christchurch are both due for 18, and Ashburton you're set for 21. To the southern towns, Balclutha, the Catlins, Lumsden and Gore can all expect moderate to fresh westerlies, cloudy skies and 15 degrees. Heading to central Otago, where you're set for strong northwesterlies and some high cloud. Wanaka and Queenstown, 18, Alexandria you reach 19, while Te Anau you should plan for freshening northwesterlies, rain and 14 degrees. To the northern towns, Timaru and Oamaru have moderate northeasterlies and high cloud. Timaru reaches 18, Oamaru 17. Twizel and Amarama can both expect light winds and clear skies, with both reaching 19 degrees. In Dunedin, cloudy tonight, looking an overnight low of 9. Mostly cloudy and cold tomorrow with moderate northeasterlies. A few sunny periods may develop during the afternoon, a high of 15 and a low of 10. Fine on Wednesday with sunny periods and some cloud, with especially low cloud morning and night, and light easterly winds, a high of 17 and a low of 12. And in Invercargill, cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 9 degrees. Cloudy with some rain developing tomorrow, and northwesterly winds slowly freshening, a high of 15 and a low of 9. Showers clearing on Wednesday and sunny periods developing during the day, also moderate westerlies, a high of 14 and a low of 8 degrees. That's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening and week. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.